Yo, what's going on, everyone? I often come back to this little map as just a reminder of how great that night in November of 2016 truly was, with all the crying faces at Clinton HQ and that raggedy old bitch not wanting to shamble her old ass out onto stage to give a consolation speech until the next morning, breaking with tradition. But, she was supposed to have that glass ceiling breaking with those tinsel rockets that were just off stage. But yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday, and I know we are in for the exact same situation. But lately I've been hearing a lot of revisionist history where, oh, the polls weren't actually wrong when they were right close to the, election day. It was just the forecasts that were wrong. Yeah, right. I've gone over the polls, and yeah, that just isn't the case. It wasn't just the forecasts. It was the polls, even though if they called the right person, it was actually off by a wild margin. And in most cases, yeah, you guys remember a bunch of these states, fucking Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Iowa, they were all supposed to be Democrat strongholds. And Florida was never supposed to tip for the Republicans again. But yeah, we'll go through the numbers here, and then I've also got the Senate for a control group just to show you that, in fact, yeah, polls were horseshit in 16, and in 20 they're going to be even more off because I got an opinion on that, and hopefully that's why you tune in. And I thank you all for taking the time to give a new channel a try here. We're doing a whole bunch of fun stuff, trying to have a laugh at the expense of the mainstream media and parse out all the horse shit that's out there. So I really appreciate anyone out there giving me a try here. Hopefully grab a laugh, and if you don't want to be fed a line of horse shit from all the other ones on TV or any form of media that keep feeding you the same line of horse shit over and over again, if you're looking to stop that cycle of crap, feel free to hit that subscribe button or just drop a like on the video if you appreciate what I'm doing here. Or let me know what you want to have covered next, because we put out 3 videos a day here and no topic is too obscure to cover. So let's just not take my word for it. We're just going to go back and revisit what the polls looked like leading up to election day in 2016. You'll remember this screen. This is on 538. They got all the aggregates for all the polls for election day right there. And yeah, this was November 8th, 2016, first thing in the morning. This is what we were expecting. A 71% victory for Clinton and 28% for Trump. Well, I remember over New York Times, it was what? They had that little speedometer there, and it was pegged at 95, I think. I'll just be generous and say 95, because I seem to remember maybe 99 as well. And by the end of the night, she went the full 198 to the other side, and oh, the tears were flowing, and it was hilarious to watch people who were so married to the government just have their absolute world shattered. Like, how the fuck can you marry yourself to such a pack of creeps and pedophiles and just disingenuous hacks that populate all branches of government? Fucking think for yourself and get off the tit already, Christ. But yeah, you guys remember, Pennsylvania, perfect example. It was going to be 77% for Trump because, hey, look at these. Okay, yeah, what were all the polls? The actual polls were saying Clinton by 2, Clinton by 4, 7, 6, 5. She was going to take it by 5 points. What did it actually end up being? Trump by a squeaker, 0.7. So they were off, what, 5, 6 points? Then there were some that they were just flat out wrong about. So Michigan wasn't supposed to be in play. Trump won it by what, 12,000, 11,000 votes? But Michigan wasn't even in play. 80-20. 80-20. It was just as safe as Pennsylvania. Christ, we can go poll for poll here. Okay, let's even go, okay, Trump was, even though on this stupid little screen, yeah, oh, Texas, it's purpling this year. Yeah, go fuck off. Yeah, look at, oh, okay, Trump's, going to win it by 10, 11, 13 points from Emerson College, a B-rated poll according to 538. Now, what was the actual lead that he won Texas by? 9 points. Who got it right? Crosswind, Ipsos. Everybody else was out to lunch. 4 points, 10 points, 13 points. Wrong in every direction. That's just a few examples. You guys can go through every single one just to see how fucking wrong they were on just about every single state. So no, it wasn't just the forecasts, it was the actual polls themselves, and not just one poll, a bunch of different polls, as you've seen with just those few examples. And of course, what do we see today? Now, I'll grant you, we're not at Judgment Day, we're not at the third yet, but Biden's up, 51 to 48? Nearly 9 points. Man, that sounds familiar. That sounds very, very familiar. I went and highlighted it to about where we are right now. We're about a week out from the second debate, and there it is. Yep. 82% to 18%. Huge gap. Huge gap. Now, that's just the forecast. What is the popular vote supposed to be? Clinton by 5 points. Electoral votes, 324, 214. So 5 points, and, well, I'm not even going to bother to remember that because it was so wacky far off for electoral votes. 2 points in the popular vote, hey? 2 fucking points. 2.1 if you want to get real technical. So you tell me a 5.5 sounds like 2.1. No, exactly. The polls were wrong. You guys don't remember incorrectly. And don't be fooled by those grifters out there that keep trying to tell you, oh, just keep tuning in and I'll tell you about what the change in the polls are all like. Yeah, no. The polls mean shit. But maybe that's just at the presidential level. Maybe they were more accurate when it comes to the House or to the Senate. And I have the Senate pulled up because, I needed a control group. The Democrats were supposed to take the Senate in 2016. They didn't. 52 to 48 as opposed to 51 to 49. They were wrong by 3 seats, and even once again by the states that they figured were going to be safe and that they actually called correctly, the numbers were totally off. Like, here's the one that they absolutely called 1000% wrong. Russ Feingold was supposed to take out Ron Johnson 8-2, when in actuality it was a 4-point win for Johnson. Or here's another prime example. Tammy Duckworth ended up winning, I know, because Illinois there's no state that quite self-flagellates as well as Illinois does. Look at the polls there on election day. 12 points. How did it end up? 15. Now you're thinking, whatever, 3 points, not a whole big difference, but how about a huge Republican advantage? Chuck Grassley was supposed to win by, just about 19 points? How about just about 25? Something tells me that all of these polls are oversampling Democrats and not capturing the silent majority? Heard that term before? You know those Trump voters that were all energized to go out there and vote for the non-politician for the first time in their lives? And I think even just anecdotally, you guys understand that there is far more in-party enthusiasm for Trump in 2020 than there was in 16. Most of the rhinos have been voted out or have retired, or in John McCain's case, finally shuffled off this death sphere, kicking and screaming the entire way, unfortunately leaving his daughter in our wake. But yeah, just wrapping up, showing you that the polls are all bunk. I know I'm trying to watch my language in this video. They predict to be wrong again about the Senate, at least in my opinion. They think that 4 seats are going to flip Democratic, actually. Now, there's a couple I won't exactly shed a tear over, like Susan Collins up in Maine. They figure that she has a 40% chance of winning. And for some stupid reason, they have a huge gap between China's favorite astronaut, Bald Lightyear himself, Mark Kelly, over Martha McSally. Huge. And here are the most up-to-date polls on that race specifically, just to show you that, and kind of encapsulate this video, that this is going to be total horseshit, because it ranges everywhere from about 50-50 to a plus 13 from Morning Consult, or from an A+ rated Siena College poll. Kelly's up by 11%, even though Project Veritas just hopefully torpedoed his career by exposing him as a gun grabber in quite possibly the most pro-Second Amendment state in the entire union. But hey, he's running as a Democrat, and we all know they like to lie, so whatever. But maybe this comparison is just all for naught. Maybe they've actually fixed their polling procedures. Stranger shit has happened? I don't think so, but according to the Pew Research Center, Pew, why 2016 election polls missed their mark. And this is exactly why I think that they're just as useless as they were back in 2016. The results of Tuesday's presidential election came as a surprise to nearly everyone who had been following the national and state election polling, which consistently projected Hillary Clinton as defeating Donald Trump. Relying largely on opinion polls, election forecasters put Clinton's chance of winning at anywhere from 70% to as high as 99%, and pegged her as a heavy favorite to win a number of states such as Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, oh fucks no, that in the end were taken by Trump. How could the polls have been so wrong in the state of the election? There's a great deal of speculation, but no clear answers as to the cause of the disconnect. But there is one point of agreement across the board. Polls underestimated Trump's level of support. Wow, really in-depth commentary there, Pew. With few exceptions, the final round of public polling showed Clinton with a lead of 1 to 7 percentage points in the national popular vote, which we just showed was about 2. State-level polling was more variable, but there were few instances where polls overstated Trump's support. Exactly. The fact that so many forecasts were off target was particularly notable given the increasingly wide variety of methodologies being tested and reported via the mainstream media and other channels. The traditional telephone polls of recent decades are now joined by increasing numbers of high-profile online probability and non-probability sample surveys, as well as prediction markets, all which showed similar errors. And that's why I think that the polls are totally bunk, because they are using outdated methodology and they are undersampling Republicans. There are very few polls out there that actually follow a proper 33 split between Democrats, Republicans, and independents, or depending on how many registered Republicans or Democrats are in a specific state, depends on how they're going to sample. The only poll out there that has been consistently pro-Trump has been Rasmussen, and they get constantly slandered as being, far right, because they follow that same roughly 33 Democratic, Republican, Independent. But now we have an added wrinkle. If you remember back in 2016, if you were a vocal Trump supporter, what was the worst thing that was going to happen to you? You'd have a MAGA flag in your front yard, and it would get stolen a couple of times until you booby-trapped it like a few hilarious people did with, electrified it a little bit, put a little bit of a taser to it, and another guy put some razor blades on it because he kept getting it stolen. And you know what? If you're going to fuck around with somebody's private property, suck a dick, you deserve some cut-up hands, you sissy bitch. Just leave your AIDS in your own body and keep it off my sidewalk. But compare and contrast that with today, where if you are even suspected to be a Trump supporter and your name is, I don't know, let's just pick a random person out there. Maybe like Jay Danielson? Yeah, we'll just go by his pseudonym. You get suspected as being a Trump supporter, you get gunned down in the streets. Or a bunch of these crazy bitches out there who attack little kids for wearing a fucking MAGA hat and rips it off his head. So the people that are actually getting polled, people who actually fill out these surveys, who have to supply any sort of identification to complete the polls, you think under any circumstances they're going to be telling you the truth, unless they're in deep red states like Alabama or southern parts of Texas. You think that they are actually going to tell you the truth, especially when now, you get doxxed. There was somebody's stepmom who was defending themselves, and I think it was one of the cops in Kenosha with Jacob Blake or Rashard Brooks in Atlanta, where the stepmom of one of the police officers was trying to stick up for their son to justify the shooting, and she got fired from her insurance firm. I think it was for the Rashard Brooks shooting. Yeah, somebody who wasn't even espousing anything political, was just trying to stand up for their stepson, and the reason for her being fired or let go from her insurance job was because she was creating an unsafe work environment. Do you think that person is going to be going out and voting for Biden? Do you think that person is not going to say a fucking word until November 3rd and press that button for Trump? Yeah, there's many more people out there. Like, oh, let's just take Goodyear, for example, with the hiding and lying about the internal memo that was going around saying you can wear Black Lives Matter slogans, but you can't wear anything that has "Make America Great Again" on it because one's a political statement and one's not, even though they're both political statements. Let's be completely honest here, people. No, situations like that are rampant throughout the entire country and honestly throughout Western civilization. You cannot be right of Stalin and expect to keep your job if you want to be vocal and express any sort of free speech. So I'll leave you with this. You think 306 to 232 is going to represent what we're going to see for Trump and Biden on November 3rd? No. No. Here's my way too early prediction. Minnesota, Virginia, New Mexico, and you won't win California, Illinois, or New York, but those margins are going to go down from, well, California, 30 points, New York, 26.5, Illinois, 17. Those won't be that big of a gulp anymore. There are enough pissed off people, former liberals, that have either fled the state and won't make up the amount of votes out there, or they've been canceled, or they've been done wrong by the left, and that's a vote to make America great again. So 306, fucking bet the over, kids. But all I wanted to do here was just give you guys a little refresher course because don't believe the hucksters out there that were telling you, oh, 2016, it was totally different. Oh, you don't remember it as well as you think you do. No, it's exactly like you remember. Nobody called it right. We were hoping, us conservatives, us Trump supporters, that this would be the case. And yeah, if you have that inkling feeling that Trump's going to be smashing the Electoral College again and might have a chance of the popular vote, you're not wrong. But we'll probably hit this topic again here a lot closer to the election. And I thank you all for a bit of your day. I've been Don Consuelo, and I want you guys to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.